Hi there. Today we're going to be adding page parts to a Wix.com website. We're starting with a blank template which basically has nothing in it at all. And in order to add a page part, which is a container for either information, graphics, or it does a lot of other cool things that we're going to see demonstrated in a minute, you simply go to Add, navigate over here on the menu to Page Parts, and then you're going to click Areas because we're adding areas today. So we'll click Areas. This brings up a dialog box with multiple options. Just to keep things simple, we're going to click on Simple, but as you can see, there's 4 different pages with different page parts that you can add, and they basically have pre-designed features on them that you can either leave as they are or alter. But since we want to take a simple one and alter it, we're going to click on that. Now, the page parts drops down in the lower left-hand corner. You can drag it anywhere you want, and you'll see that as you drag it, you get a dialog right here, or right there that said drop here, and you also get these yellow triangles that basically lock the image into the editing zone. So we'll drop it there. A page part can be easily resized. You just click the resizing handles here and here, or you can resize it and lock the ratio by doing that. Now I want to show you some really interesting things that you can do with page parts because they're not just a static container. They can actually be made animated, change colors, all sorts of neat things. So when you have the page parts highlighted or selected, you'll see that it has the little squares around it that basically show you this item is selected. When the area is selected, you get this area dialog box over here. And this allows you to replace the page part if you don't like the format that you've chosen. In this case it was simple. You can change the colors, adjust the settings, actually hyperlink this page part maybe to a different page like Google, which we'll do in a second, create some effects and behaviors, and even add animation to it. So we're going to start with the very first thing. Replace gives you options with multiple different images here, and instead of having the 4 pages like we did before, we've only got 2 pages of options. As you see, we've chosen the simple, but we can change it to one of these other designs. We're going to leave it as the simple, but if you get working on your page part and you decide, oh, that format's just not working for me, click replace and it'll bring up all these other options. Okay, now we don't want just a plain boring white page part, so we're going to change the color. When we bring up the color spectrum, you can see I have all these pre-selected colors here, so I'm going to change the color in my page part to this kind of turquoisey teal color. So you can change the color, you can even adjust the gradient if you want to, or you can insert an image like the wood image. We're just going to leave the color like that because there's some other things we're going to demonstrate. Now, in the settings, gives you the option to take something that has color of any type or an image and reduce the transparency so that it's somewhat see-through. And if you layer objects in your page and you put the transparency pretty low, you'll be able to see the layered objects beneath it. We're going to put it just a few ticks below 1 at 0.8. Gives us a little bit of transparency, but it's still pretty colorful. Now, let's say we want to link this whole page part to a different website. We simply click on the link button. We're going to link it, like I said, to a different website, but we can also link it to a page within our Wix website, or if we want it to go to someone's email, we can link it to that. Right here, we're going to keep it simple. We're just going to type in www.google.com, and we're going to link to Google's website, and we're going to set it to open in a new window. Since this isn't our website, we don't want it to override our existing site and open in the same window. Anytime you go outside, you want to open in a new window. So we click OK. Alright, now we're going to add some effects. And the effects basically are some pretty just neat looking things. We're going to blur this one, and we're going to adjust the blur so that as you can see behind it, it has the live preview. And it sort of blurs the edges. This just looks kind of cool. If you decide you don't like the blur, you can always just click on that and get rid of it. If you want to add a reflection instead, you can actually adjust the way that the reflection goes, the angle that it goes, everything, the perspective. But we don't want the reflection. We're going to go back to the blur. So there's that, and then we'll close it out. Oops, try that one more time. Effects, blur, and we'll adjust the blur like we had it before. Okay, and then we'll close that out. So you can see it's kind of blurry around the edges. Now we're going to add a behavior. And a behavior is basically something it does when the user initiates an action. So an action by the user would be maybe rolling the mouse over. So you can see it says adjust color on roll, shadow on roll. So it's going to do something when we roll over it. So let's put glow on roll. And the cool part about this is you can change the glow color. So let's change the glow color to be one of these really dark turquoise so it has kind of a neat glow to it. Alright, and we got the transparency set, the blur, and then the strength. All right, so we're going to close that. And the final thing we're going to do is give it some animation so that when the web page loads, it's going to do something. You can see it has live previews here that shows it's going to enter from right, enter from the top, however you want it to come in. Since this is kind of a blurry image, we're going to dissolve it in, just because that's kind of neat. Now we can dissolve it in several different ways, in hoops, in lines, or in stars. We're going to go ahead and dissolve it in lines. All right. So we've basically done all of the different options here on this page part. But when we're here, we can't see what's going on with it. It's just stagnant. So in order to see how it's going to react live, we go up here to preview. And this is going to give us basically a live preview. You see that it kind of blurred in lines. It's a blurred image, but watch what happens when I roll over it. It glows. Again, a user-initiated action. So that's basically an introduction to page parts and the multiple things that you can do to adjust it once you have it on your Wix website. Thanks for watching.